Beloved in Christ, may the Lord fill your minds and your heart with His peace. Amen. Today is the Thursday of the third week of Easter, and as usual, I've come your way with the daily reflections. We are reflecting on the Gospel according to John chapter 6, verses 44 to 51. We are reflecting on the theme, more than a gift. The crowds from John 6:30 demanded for a sign from Jesus. Although Jesus responded to the challenge, but instead of giving them the sign, He revealed Himself, His true identity as the greatest of all signs. Throughout, Jesus has been using images and familiar OT stories to draw the people to believe in Him. All He is doing is to prove that the people needed to learn something instead of seeing something. So far, the crowds have no problem with God the Father. Their only problem is with the so-called divinity of Jesus. It is a claim they cannot accept. If that is the case, then Christ begins to use that which they are familiar with to show them who He is. He begins today's discourse by saying that no one can come to Him unless the Father draws him. John 6:44a. How does the Father draw people? The Father draws them through the Word. So they must hear, learn, and be drawn to the Word of the Father, and with that they will be drawn to the Savior. Because everyone who has learned and have heard from the Father goes to Christ. Then in verse 46, He tells them that no one has seen the Father except Him who is from God. With this, Jesus presents to the crowds two things to ponder on. You know the Father, and that you have no problem. Your problem is with my identity as to have come from the Father. But if the Father draws you to me through His Word, and I am the Word, then who am I? Secondly, no one can come to me unless he has heard and learned from the Father. But no one has seen the Father apart from me. So to hear and learn from the Father is to hear and learn from me, whom the Father has sent. With this, Jesus indeed establishes that the crowds do not need miracle, rather teaching. That all they seek is right there in their face, and that they needed to be guided. Jesus now goes back to the topic of He being the bread of life, and He compares Himself with the manna, since the people are familiar with that particular OT story. Indeed, that He's telling them to let their defense down in order to learn something from Him, because something greater than Moses is here, and that He is more than just a gift as the manna. He is a costly gift. By calling Himself the bread of life, He wasn't claiming to be exactly like the manna, but that He is greater. He made certain comparisons that the manna was quite strange to the people of Israel. That is why in Exodus 16:15, they didn't even know what it was. So is Jesus a mystery. That the manna came at night, so did Christ come to humanity when man was in moral and spiritual darkness. Notwithstanding these similarities, He is greater than the manna, because the manna only sustained life for the Jews, but Christ gives life to the world. The Jews ate and still died, but he who receives Christ lives forever. The manna was a great gift from God to the Israelites, and it costed Him nothing to send it every day. But Christ was a person who gave His life, meaning He is a gift with a great cost. The Father gave His Son at a greater cost. All this was to prove to the people that someone greater is here, and that they are privileged to have experienced Him. So instead of wasting time on signs and a proof of His divinity, they should just tap into what they have seen and what He has to offer. The crowds were surprised as to how Christ can do more for them than Moses. They were holding on to the so-called traditions, doctrines, teachings, handed down to them from the forefathers. All these have become a load, and it has become as well a spiritual blindness. So the crowd is blinded from seeing the greater gift and opportunity they have at hand. Beloved, Christ is more than a gift. He's a costly one, and so he's very effective in his dealings with us. Are you holding on to the past failure, past disappointment, past fear, such that you fail to open up to Christ? I urge you this day to tap into this greater gift presented to you and appropriate Christ as your inheritance, because he is more than just a gift. Beloved, I greet you with the seasonal greetings of Easter, and I urge you to focus, move ahead in life, forget about the past, and experience Christ as the gift from the Father. Have a spirit-filled day, favored of Yahweh.